So this camera has sparked the biggest creative shift in my photography since back when I was still trying to find my style. And actually, I'm not even sure I found it yet or if I ever will, but this camera, the Fujifilm X100VI, and its strange mix of limitations and possibilities has challenged me in ways that I didn't expect. It's nothing like the DSLRs and other mirrorless cameras that I've used for the last decade. At first, I wasn't even sure if I liked it. I got pulled in by the hype, the Fuji community, my boy Ben, who let me borrow his X100V for a bit. But now, after a few weeks with it, after the frustrations, the small wins, and the moments where everything just clicked, now I get it. So before buying the X100VI, I had been looking for a compact photo camera for months, probably even a year at that point. I wanted something that I could use outside of work just for the fun of shooting, but also for documenting more memories. It came down to two cameras, the Ricoh GR3 and this one. I was leaning towards the Ricoh, if I'm being honest. It's smaller, cheaper, and most importantly, it was actually in stock. But one night at like 2 in the morning, I was up watching comparison videos between the two, and I don't know what made me do it, but I was just like, let me just check B&H, and it was actually in stock. The reason it took me so long to pull the trigger on a new camera that wasn't for work is because, well, photography is expensive. So spending a few grand on a camera that wasn't gonna make me any money just felt hard to justify, you know? But after over a month of shooting with it, it's made me more intentional, more present, and honestly just more excited to take photos again. By the way, I wasn't happy with the majority of the photos that I was taking with this camera when I first started using it. But the more I use it, the more I understand why this camera speaks to so many different people. Casual users, enthusiasts, and even professionals, they all find something in it, whether it's the film-like aesthetics or just the simplicity of a fixed lens. But I think there's something deeper going on. This camera taps into three big things that I think a lot of people are craving right now, not just as photographers, but as people. We want the look without the weight, and that's exactly what this camera delivers. You get the vibe, the nostalgia, the film feel straight out of the camera. No rolls, no scanners, no Lightroom, none of that. I mean, you can if you wanted to, but just a few tweaks and a baked in recipe, and then you're one button away from what could take hours. And it's not entirely about, the film look. It's about skipping the friction, if that makes any sense. And in a world that's this fast, who wouldn't appreciate that? But just because the camera makes shooting easier in some cases, doesn't mean that every photo is gonna hit. As a matter of fact, during the first few days, and honestly, even the first few weeks, I wasn't happy with the majority of the photos that I was taking. The compositions fell off, the fixed focal length was throwing me off a bit, and I kept second guessing my shots. I'm still not hitting 100% either, and I probably never will, but the number of photos I'm happy with has gone up noticeably. So like with anything, you grow by being uncomfortable and in unfamiliar situations. And this is a system that I had to learn and I'm still getting used to. Coming from a camera with an interchangeable lens, full frame sensor, and technically better on paper, the Canon R5C, this camera gives me so much less to work with. It doesn't really try to be everything, and that's what makes it so good. What's funny is that this camera, the same camera that's been challenging me over the last few weeks, because I've been trying to get the most out of it, is a camera that someone else that might not be as passionate or just might want a nice point and shoot camera, they might use it without ever leaving auto. Whether you're someone who's never shot outside of auto mode or a seasoned photographer with years of experience, this thing meets you there. You can just turn it on, frame the shot, and let the recipes do the work. Or if you can go full manual, customize every single setting, and treat it like a proper creative tool, you'll make the most out of it and really push it to its limits. That's why I think it connects with such a wide range of people. So I'm editing the video and I just wanted to clarify something because I feel like I wasn't clear here. I don't really talk about it in the video, but the camera comes with base simulations that Fujifilm makes. So these are like the color profiles or filters that, you can just use straight out of camera. You don't have to tweak anything, it looks pretty decent. Film recipes are a step up where you can tweak a few settings and make them more personal and just how you want your images to look and feel. But those are the difference between the two. What I was trying to say here is that you don't really need to do that if you don't want to or don't know how to. You can just use the base simulations that Fuji offers and still get a good picture. On one end, you got the casual users, the ones looking for a nice camera that takes great looking photos straight out of the box. It looks good, it feels premium, and it gets people curious when you bring it out at a cafe or a public event or something. people tend to ask about it. One of the best things about this camera is that you can set everything to auto, hand it to someone who's never touched a real camera, and still walk away with an acceptable shot, thanks to the baked-in colors, film recipes, and decent autofocus. But then you got the other side of the spectrum, people who treat this thing like a full-on creative tool, I mean, because it is. Manual controls, custom recipes, a viewfinder, they'll make the most out of it. I'm currently trying to make the most out of it. Still getting there, but like I said, the more I use it, the more I'm happy with my shots. Travel photographers, street shooters, people who know exactly how they want their images to feel, they'll make the most out of this thing. And it's crazy because it's the same tool that the next person who's just a casual can use and still get good looking photos. It doesn't just appeal to a wide range of users, it's reflective of the world that we're living in right now. People want to feel creative, whether they're capturing a memory or chasing aesthetic. They want to make something that looks like it belongs in a gallery or on a mood board, but not everyone wants to study composition or color theory or shoot raw and spend hours editing. And you can feel how you want about that. Some people just want the result of art without the weight of becoming an artist. And others, they want the full process. This camera gives both types of people a starting point. Doesn't ask who you are, just lets you create on your terms. This camera isn't just a tool for taking photos, it's a conversation starter. I've had friends who don't care about photography at all ask me about it. The retro look, the dial heavy design, the film vibe, it pulls people in. And beyond that, the online Fuji community is massive. You got people sharing custom recipes on Reddit, YouTube, Fuji Weekly, and just trading ideas and exploring the craft together. I think part of it is because the X100 line and just Fuji cameras in general appeals to both beginners and professionals, so the audience just feels bigger. I don't know if Fuji sells more than Canon or Sony or the other brands, but it just feels like more people are talking about it. More casuals too. All right, before I wrap up, I do want to touch on a few technical things. This isn't a full review, so I'll save the deep dive for another video. But here's what stood out to me after over a month of using it day to day. First off, I do miss the full frame sensor look, especially paired with a longer focal length. The shallow depth of field and extra light just isn't the same. And the Fuji menus, they're awful, like honestly. They're not the most intuitive, and I've had to dig around more than I like to just change basic things like switch the direction the dials turn. It's just simple things. And also the text on the menus drives me nuts. I hate that it has different spacing. But with that said, there's stuff I love about the camera too. Overall, I love this thing. The built-in ND filters is clutch when shooting in bright daylight, and the dedicated dials for ISO, shutter speed, and exposure compensation, that alone makes the shooting experience feel more tactile and more immersive. So overall, the X100 has been a new experience for me. It's definitely changing the way I shoot and what I value in my frame. And like I said, I don't love every photo that I take with the camera, but I take it with me everywhere I go and I'm shooting more, which is the point. That's it for me though. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.